Before credit cards, before paper bills, before coins, humans had to figure out how to trade with each other from scratch. The story of money is one of the most fascinating journeys in human history, and it starts somewhere you might not expect. The earliest economies ran on barter, a direct trade of goods and services. You have wheat, I have fish. We make a deal. Simple enough, right? Except it almost never was. The problem was called the double coincidence of wants. For barter to work, you needed to find someone who had exactly what you wanted and wanted exactly what you had, at the same time. That's incredibly hard to pull off. So, people started using commodity money, objects that had real-world value everyone could agree on. Cattle, grain, shells, and salt were some of the earliest forms of currency used across ancient civilizations.
But carrying a cow to the market to buy a loaf of bread was its own kind of problem. Civilizations needed something smaller, portable, and universally accepted. That need gave birth to metal coinage.
Around 600 BC, the kingdom of Lydia, in what is now modern Turkey, struck the world's first standardized coins from a natural gold-silver alloy called electrum. Each coin was stamped with an official mark guaranteeing its weight and purity. Coinage spread fast. The Greeks, Persians, Romans, and Chinese all developed their own coin systems within a few centuries. For the first time in history, a merchant could travel hundreds of miles and still do business. But coins were heavy and dangerous to carry across long distances. Chinese merchants in the Tang Dynasty came up with an ingenious solution: paper receipts that represented stored coins. These were the world's first paper money. The idea caught on. By the 17th century, European goldsmiths were issuing notes promising to pay the bearer in gold on demand. People began trading the notes instead of the gold itself. Modern banking had begun.
Governments eventually took over, printing national currencies backed by gold reserves, a system known as the gold standard. For over a century, every dollar you held was technically a claim on real gold sitting in a vault. Then, in 1971, U.S. President Nixon made a decision that changed everything. He ended the dollar's convertibility to gold, cutting money's last physical anchor. From that point on, currency was backed by nothing but government trust, what economists call fiat money. Today, most money only exists as numbers on a screen, digital entries in a bank's ledger. You've probably never stopped to think about it, but the cash in your pocket is only a tiny fraction of the money that actually exists. And then, in 2009, an anonymous person or group, using the name Satoshi Nakamoto, released Bitcoin. It was a completely new kind of money, decentralized, digital, and limited to just 21 million coins, ever. Bitcoin introduced the blockchain, a public ledger recorded across thousands of computers simultaneously, with no single bank or government in control. Every transaction is transparent, permanent, and verified by the network itself. Critics call it volatile and speculative. Supporters call it the future of finance. What's clear is that Bitcoin and the crypto movement forced the entire financial world to rethink what money actually is and who gets to control it. From bartering a goat for a bag of grain to tapping a phone to pay for coffee, money has always been a technology, a shared agreement that something has value, and that agreement keeps evolving. The history of money is really the history of trust. And no matter what form it takes next, whether it's a digital coin, a programmable token, or something we haven't even imagined yet, that foundation of trust is what makes it real.
If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe for more stories about the hidden histories shaping our everyday world. Drop a comment. What other everyday things do you want to explore next?